Chill English Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to the one and only Chill English Podcast. My name is Alex.
And I'm Chloe. Hey, everyone. We are so glad you've decided to hang out with us today.
We really are. Here at Chill English, our goal is simple: to help you learn English in the most relaxed and natural way possible. No boring textbooks, no stressful grammar drills, just real, everyday conversations.
And today, we're talking about something that is very real and very everyday for millions, if not billions, of people around the world. We're talking about the daily commute.
That's right. The journey to work or school, and the journey back home. It might not be the most exciting part of your day, but it's something people talk about all the time. If you can talk about your commute, you have an instant conversation starter with colleagues and classmates.
Exactly. Like, how was your commute this morning? Is the international symbol for let's start our workday with a small complaint. It's a bonding experience. So today, we're going to teach you 6 essential phrases that will make you sound like a native speaker when you talk about driving and public transport.
We'll break them down, give you easy to understand examples, and by the end of this episode, you'll be able to use them with confidence. Ready to get started, Chloe?
I was born ready, but I have to say, Alex, I am not in a good mood about my commute this morning. It was a disaster.
Oh no. Do tell. Let's get right into our main conversation. So, Chloe, what happened this morning? You seem a little more stressed than usual.
Stressed is an understatement. I left home at my usual time around 7:30 a.m. thinking it would be fine. But the moment I turned onto the main road, boom, it was complete chaos. The worst rush hour I've seen in months.
Ah, the dreaded rush hour.
Hold on, let's stop right there. Rush hour. I know what it is, but for our listeners who might be new to the term, can you explain it simply? It sounds a bit aggressive, like everyone is rushing and angry.
That's a great way to put it, and often it's true. Rush hour refers to the times of day when traffic is heaviest because most people are traveling to or from work. It's not just 1 hour, it's usually a period of time. For example, in the morning, it might be from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., and in the evening from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
So it's the busiest time on the roads and on public transport.
Precisely. You could say, I try to avoid driving during the evening rush hour because it takes twice as long to get home. Or the subway is always incredibly crowded during the morning rush hour.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And my morning rush hour experience was a nightmare. I was just sitting there, not moving. The cars were so close together, it was just bumper, then another bumper, then another bumper.
That sounds like you were stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Wait, I love that phrase, bumper-to-bumper traffic. What does that mean exactly?
It's a very descriptive phrase. Imagine the cars are so close together that the front bumper of one car is almost touching the back bumper of the car in front of it. So bumper-to-bumper traffic is just a more vivid way of saying very heavy traffic or a traffic jam where cars are moving very slowly or not at all.
Oh, that describes my morning perfectly. For 20 minutes, I didn't move. I was completely stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic. It was so frustrating.
I can imagine. A good example sentence would be, we were late for the movie because the highway was bumper-to-bumper traffic for over an hour. It really paints a picture of being stuck.
It really does. So after finally getting through that part of the city, I thought I was in the clear. But then, this made me so angry, Alex. I was driving in my lane, listening to this podcast, actually.
Excellent choice.
Of course. And this guy in a big fancy SUV who was in the lane next to me just suddenly swerved into my lane right in front of me with no warning. I had to slam on my brakes.
Wow, that's incredibly dangerous. The phrase for that is to cut someone off. He cut you off.
To cut someone off. Can you deconstruct that for me? It sounds like you're using scissors on a car.
It does, but it's a very common phrasal verb. To cut someone off means to suddenly move your car in front of another car in a dangerous way, not leaving enough space. The off part of the phrase implies that you've sort of blocked their path or interrupted their flow.
That is exactly what he did. He cut me off. I was so shocked. I honked my horn, of course.
As you should have. It's a major cause of accidents and something that really angers other drivers. You could be telling the story to a friend and say, I was so mad this morning, some guy in an SUV cut me off on the freeway and didn't even use his turn signal.
I feel like I'm going to be using that phrase a lot now. It's so frustrating when someone cuts you off. And it's even worse when you're already stressed from sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic during the morning rush hour. See? I'm using the phrases already.
You're a natural. This is why I always suggest taking the train. You avoid all of that trauma. No traffic, no one cutting you off.
Are you kidding me? The train is a whole different kind of nightmare. I tried it last week. I got to the platform and it was a sea of people. When the train doors opened, everyone just pushed their way inside. We were all packed like sardines.
Ah, a classic idiom, packed like sardines. I can just picture it now.
Hold on. What do small fish have to do with my terrible train ride? Explain packed like sardines.
It's an idiom that comes from the way sardines, those small, oily fish, are packed tightly into a can. There is absolutely no extra space. So when we say a place is packed like sardines, we mean it is extremely crowded with people, so much so that you can barely move.
That was it. I couldn't even lift my arm to check my phone. The train was completely packed like sardines. It's so uncomfortable.
It is. You can use this for any crowded space, not just public transport. For example, the concert was amazing, but we were packed like sardines near the stage. But it's very, very commonly used for buses and trains during, you guessed it,
Rush hour. Of course, everything comes back to rush hour. I just feel like my entire journey to work is such a struggle. From my door to the office, it takes over an hour and a half. It's just such a long haul.
I was just thinking that. Your commute really is a long haul.
Okay, you're using my words, but now it sounds like a special phrase. What do you mean by a long haul?
You used it perfectly. A long haul refers to a journey that is long and often difficult or tiring. It's not just about distance, but also about the effort and time it takes. The word haul means to pull or drag something heavy. So a long haul feels like you are dragging yourself over a long distance.
That's a perfect description of how I feel. My commute isn't just long in kilometers, it's mentally tiring. So it really is a long haul.
Exactly. You could say, driving across the country with 3 kids in the car was a long haul, but we finally made it. Or, in your case, an hour and a half in traffic every morning is such a long haul.
It really captures that feeling of it being a difficult task. My goodness, I feel like you've just given me the vocabulary to describe my morning perfectly. A long haul, rush hour, bumper-to-bumper traffic, getting cut off, and sometimes being packed like sardines. This is my life. There must be a better way, Alex.
Well, there is one thing people try to do. My neighbor, for example, leaves for work at 6 a.m. every morning.
6 in the morning? Why so early?
He does it to beat the traffic.
One more for the road. Okay, what does to beat the traffic mean? Does it mean you fight the traffic?
Not literally. To beat the traffic means to leave for your destination earlier than most people in order to avoid the period of heaviest traffic, to avoid rush hour. You beat it like in a race. You get ahead of it before it becomes a problem.
So you win against the traffic jam.
That's the idea. So you could say, I'm going to leave at 6 a.m. tomorrow to beat the traffic. Or a friend might advise you, if you want to get to the airport on time, you should leave early to beat the traffic.
You know what? That actually sounds like a great idea. Maybe if I left an hour earlier, my commute wouldn't feel such a long haul. I could avoid the worst of the rush hour completely.
It's worth a try.
You'll have a much more peaceful drive if it's not bumper-to-bumper traffic the whole way.
And hopefully no one will cut me off because there will be fewer angry drivers on the road. Okay, I feel like I have learned so much. My brain is full. I think it's time for a recap.
I agree. Let's do it.
All right, that was a lot of great practical vocabulary. Let's quickly review the 6 core phrases we learned today. Chloe, I'm going to name the phrase, and you try to explain it in your own words.
Okay, you're putting me on the spot, but I can do this. Let's go.
First one, rush hour.
That's the busiest time of day on the roads or on public transport, usually in the morning when people go to work and in the evening when they come home.
Perfect. Next, bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Ooh, my nightmare. That's when the traffic is so heavy that all the cars are super close together and moving very, very slowly or not at all.
Excellent. How about to cut someone off?
That's when a driver does a super annoying and dangerous thing by suddenly moving into your lane right in front of you without enough space.
Spot on. Okay, moving to public transport. Packed like sardines.
My other nightmare. It means a place like a train or a bus is incredibly crowded with people, so much so that you can't move, like little fish in a can.
A great way to remember it. What about a long haul?
That describes a journey that is very long and feels difficult or tiring, not just about the distance, but also the effort. My commute is definitely a long haul.
And finally, our potential solution, to beat the traffic.
That means to leave early before rush hour to avoid all the heavy traffic. You win the race against the traffic jam.
Fantastic. You've got all of them. Now, to help our listeners really see how these phrases work together, let's do a quick practice scenario.
I love the role plays. What's the situation?
Okay. You and I are colleagues meeting at the coffee machine at work on a Tuesday morning. I'll start.
Got it. I'm ready.
Morning, Chloe. How you doing?
Morning, Alex. I've been better.
Oh no. What's wrong? You look exhausted.
Don't even ask about my commute. It was such a long haul today. I made the mistake of leaving a bit late and got caught in the worst of the morning rush hour.
Oh, I hate when that happens. Was the freeway bad?
Bad is an understatement. It was completely bumper-to-bumper traffic for almost 45 minutes. And to make things even worse, right when things started moving, some guy in a red sports car just decided to cut me off to get to his exit. I nearly had a heart attack.
No way. Some people are just so reckless. That's why I usually take the train, but even that's no fun on a Tuesday. I bet it was packed like sardines.
Exactly. There's no winning. But you know what? Tomorrow, I'm setting my alarm for 6 a.m. I'm gonna beat the traffic once and for all.
That's the spirit. A little less sleep for a lot less stress. Want a donut?
I thought you never ask.
And scene. See how all those phrases can fit into one short, very normal conversation?
That was perfect. It felt so natural. Using these phrases really makes the story of your commute so much more interesting and detailed.
And that just about does it for today's episode of Chill English Podcast. We hope you now feel much more confident talking about your daily journey.
We really do. And now we have a challenge for you, our amazing listeners. We want you to practice. This is your call to action.
That's right. We want you to tell us about your commute. Look for this episode on our YouTube channel or Spotify and leave us a comment. Tell us, do you drive or take public transport? Is your commute a long haul? Do you often get stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic? Or do you leave early to beat the traffic? Try to use at least one of the phrases we learned today in your comment. We read every single comment, and it's the best way for you to practice and for us to see what you've learned. Don't be shy.
And if you found this episode helpful and you want more chill lessons just like this one, please make sure to subscribe or follow our podcast on whatever platform you're listening on. It helps us a lot and ensures you never miss an episode.
Thank you all so much for tuning in and spending part of your day with us. Until next time, keep it chill.
Bye, everyone. Happy commuting.